You're listening to The Social Workers on WCDB Albany.
And welcome back to The Social Workers on WCDB Albany. This is the place where we talk about social work and related issues in the community. We have a wide range of things we talk about on The Social Workers, and we're glad you're here as listeners. My name is Eric Hardiman, and I'm the co-host here with Alyssa Lotmore. Welcome back, Alyssa.
Hey, Eric. Exciting show we have today. You want to talk a little bit about who we have?
I would love to. It is an exciting show. It feels like spring is here. The weather is turning a little bit. We've got lots of great shows lined up on The Social Workers, and today's just one example. So let's just jump right in. So today we have Tatiana Gjergji, who is president and founder of Noteworthy Resources. Tatiana is a first-generation American with refugee family members who escaped from Albania and Montenegro to provide a better life for their family. With a bachelor's degree in psychology and someone who has studied at the University of Albany, Tatiana has developed experience working in the mental health and addiction support services field. In her own personal time, she also founded Noteworthy Resources in 2017 to offer individuals a sense of community, educational resources, and support. Tatiana's business mindset shifted from working harder, which was a skill she learned from her parents, to working smarter. Noteworthy Resources provides a variety of educational workshops, empowerment meetups, skateboarding programs, and other support services to individuals throughout the Capital District here in New York. So Tatiana, I hope I pronounced your last name correctly. Tatiana Gjergji from Noteworthy Resources. Welcome to The Social Workers.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, we're excited to talk about your program and talk about you and talk about how you got here and sort of what you're doing for the Capital Region and beyond.
And going off Eric's bio, Eric just read your bio, and let's start off with you and how you came here and decided to just start Noteworthy.
Yeah, so being first generation American with parents from Albania and from Montenegro, I have seen even today and yesterday, even now still, my parents, they're extremely smart. They are not educated like in the way at school. They're more, life skills, living in survival mode, and just overall, they have a lot of skills that they've developed by living in their environments, whether it was in the Bronx or in Catskill or in Albania or Italy and places like that. So living and learning all the time, but yet still lacking resources, really motivated me to open up a nonprofit, which I had no idea what I was doing whatsoever. And I still am learning as I'm going as well. I mean, none of us are experts here. But, that experience watching my family come to this country, get their citizenship. When I was in 5th grade, my mom was also studying to get her citizenship. So what I was learning in 5th grade, which was so funny with that show, is, what I was learning then, she was also learning as an adult.
Yeah.
And so I've always felt the responsibility to provide resources to help and support my parents, of course. But I've noticed this throughout many, many, many other cultures, especially with first generation families or children, is that they're still lacking resources. I went to college. I went to multiple colleges. It actually took me 7 years to graduate college. And I feel like I was misdirected. I wasn't really educated as to what to look out for, because my parents never even graduated middle school or high school.
Wow.
And not even college. I was the first one in my family. So and then friends I went to high school with, they already went to 4-year college. They're done and ready to go. And I'm like, wait, what about me? Why am I stuck? And I started the same time as you. And I've also noticed working in a special education field that many families who have children on the autism spectrum or any other challenges that they face, especially with mental health, they're also feeling lost. So I really was motivated to kind of provide a safe and supportive platform for individuals, all individuals and families, to come together and get what they need and also empower one another.
What a compelling story. I mean, it sounds to me, just hearing this initial part of your story, that you've really learned from your own experiences, drawn from your early childhood and your, all the steps up to where you are now, and the experiences of your family members, your parents, to take that experience and then combine that with what you're experiencing now as a first generation American, and sort of thinking about resources that other families might need, and that's led you to the point of starting your own nonprofit, which is tremendously exciting. I mean, first of all, congratulations on finishing your undergraduate degree. I mean, that's a huge accomplishment for a first generation student, and something you should clearly be proud of. But then to kind of move beyond that to actually starting a nonprofit organization in an area that desperately needs one in this realm. So I guess, could you tell us a little bit about the organization and sort of what it does, what the scope is, what are some of the again, some of your motivation for starting it, and how that led you into the early days of it?
Of course, Eric. Thank you. So I opened up the nonprofit just willing to, I'm on my knees on the sidewalk. What would you guys want to talk about? What do you need in the community? Obviously, no one's going to be like, yeah, I want this. And then they actually show up. So what I did was I kind of found topics that I wanted to learn about, that I needed to be educated on, and I was interested and curious about. So I studied it and presented and hosted a workshop on that topic, or I got a colleague or community partner to teach a workshop, and let others. And that's what I love so much about Noteworthy, is letting others teach our own workshops. And even individuals who, for example, a woman that I know, she went all over the world, in Spain and Mexico and all these other places, and to get educated on yoga and teaching yoga. And then she's like, well, and I'm like, well, are you teaching? No. Well, why? Oh, well, because I don't know where to start, or no one's really going to take me. I don't have any experience. I got you. I'll get a space. We'll set a date, a time, and you're good. Oh, well, I'm nervous. It's okay. I'll be there. She hosted it. There was 3 people, but that sparked her interest in learning more and getting out there and going. That's what Noteworthy is. Now she's teaching at Hot Yoga, Lark Street Yoga, all these other places in Albany now. And it's just beautiful to see someone grow. And that's what Noteworthy is. So whatever topics we host, whether it's our mental health support group that we host every month, which is extremely resourceful and fun and educating and empowering, or it's a breaking money blocks workshop, talking about the energy of money and the relationship you have with money, or how to make your own smudge stick. All these other variety of workshops. That's why there's no specific, it's very awkward to talk about this nonprofit from the start, because people are like, oh, well, what's your focus? Well, community, anything. What do you need? What do you want to talk about? What do you want to teach? Let's go. And that's when the skateboarding came into place this summer. I've always been involved in loving skateboarding, but never actually related it to the nonprofit.
Yeah. So I want to get to the skateboarding in a second, but before we get to that, I'm really interested and sort of fascinated by this word resources, which is part of your title. And I've heard you use that word several times in the past few minutes, thinking about what is a resource in the community, and how does an organization like yours conceptualize resources and think about what does it mean to bring new resources to a community that may not even realize it needs those resources. So I'm not sure I have an eloquent question in there, but can you talk a little bit about like what does that notion of resources mean to you?
Great question. Because even my mom is struggling too with some, house issues, with the roof and things like that. And she's never been asked, or actually, coming to this country, you have to have certain things, buy certain things. But was she educated to know what benefits do you get with home insurance? Mm. So resources is having someone in the community that you can ask questions and get educated. Okay. Or resources are on my website. I have a variety of resources, little tabs that you can see what topics that you want to learn about and have that information. Without information, how are we ever going to thrive and evolve and be a respectful, compassionate member of the community? So just knowing what's out there, knowing what options you have and what are available to you in your community is huge. So we have mental health support group service resources. We don't provide direct mental health services, but just giving you that resources of look at all these places locally. That's what we need locally. Everyone knows about the national hotlines and helplines, but what's local? And so where are mental health support centers here? Where are Black-owned businesses here? Can you, like, for instance, simple resources, how to support someone struggling with grief, rather than saying, sorry for your loss. Well, what else can you say? How is that terminology damaging at sometimes? Or how can people access not just grief and loss resources, but also addiction resources, whether it's for preventing addiction, treatment, or recovery? A variety of things. I think what Noteworthy is, we provide the holistic resources, giving you all the information, whether it's about physical health, mental health, social, emotional health.
And that's so much is what is needed at times, because we always are like, oh, something's wrong, but where do we go, or how do we get started? Just like you were talking about the woman who wanted to teach yoga. And even when you were starting your nonprofit, where do you start, and how do we connect individuals with others who can guide us in some way? If we have this idea or have this passion or need some assistance, how do we get to that next step? So this is a wonderful resource, I should say, for the community to help them connect them with other resources.
Yeah. Exactly, Alyssa. Like how am I just want to be not just a mentor, but I want to be someone to, someone can turn to me and ask a question. And if I don't know, I'm going to go look with you. I'm not just going to be like, I don't know, and then let the conversation go. Or call this other person. Living in the Bronx, going to school at Hunter College. Oh my God, I got misdirected so many times. Oh, go to this office. No, go to that office. I'm like, can someone just help me?
Yeah.
That's all I want. Yeah. I just need support. And that's what Noteworthy is. People will message me, where can I donate clothes locally? I have suits. I have skateboards. I have this. I have that. I don't know where to go. I don't want to go and give it to another organization that's going to sell it for profit. I want to give it to someone that can actually use it. Yeah. So that's also an example.
And so do you have a specific, I think I know the answer to this question, but I want to check with you. Do you have a specific population or a specific area of Albany that you're trying to reach, or is it the entire community? How are you conceptualizing that?
It is everyone.
Okay.
Community. So all humans within the Capital District, because that's where I am at. You know, but wherever I go, Noteworthy comes with me as well. So if I go to San Francisco, if I go to Oakland, if I go to those places and a nonprofit, wants to collaborate, why not host a workshop there? Why not go back to the Bronx and host a workshop for my little cousins, Girl Scout girls, and teach them about, a variety of things that they want to learn? Why not?
Yeah.
So especially with with things being virtual, it's very easy to spread those services around, but we are all over the Capital District of New York.
Great. So one thing that we've heard you mention and read about a little bit is Skate Albany, and that has a focus on connecting and empowering women, individuals who identify as LGBTQ and other and non-binary youth. Can you talk a little bit more about that program, and also maybe a little bit about how you mentioned that you'd always been interested in skateboarding? How did how did this idea come about for Skate Albany?
Yeah, this is what I love about Noteworthy is making those connections, putting the pieces together. I am really good friends with the Seasoned Skate Shop on Lark Street. Really, really great humans there working and helping the community and providing them the materials and supplies to go out and skateboard, right? And someone reached out to them and said, oh, I want to host a women's skate meetup. LGBTQ and women's skate meetup. And they were like, oh, you know what? We know Tatiana. She's been in the skate scene for a while, like friends with everyone. And she has a nonprofit. She'll help you out or redirect you or whatever, provide some community support. She calls me up and it was like, she called me up and she was like, I want to do this. I know it's super last minute. I want to do this Tuesday. And she called me on a Saturday. She's like, I want to do this Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever. It was very, very last minute. She was like, I'm up here. I want to do it. I'm inspired. You're a community person. Could you get the community to come if we work together? I said, yes. We got about 40 to 50 people within those couple days.
Wow.
During a global pandemic.
Yeah.
In June 2020. And when I specifically remember that moment when a mom's, because every time they'd come in, they sign in and they get like a raffle or water or granola bar or whatever. And the mom of this young youth skateboarder goes, okay, when's the next one? And I'm next month. Immediately I was like, and that's how I work. Sometimes I can be impulsive, but it's intentional, right? There's a need. And that's what I really, really, really like motivates me is you need it, you want it, let's do it. It took me a millisecond to respond to her. This is going to be hosted once a month. I didn't know when. I said, but go back to the website and you'll find it. I will make this event a monthly event. And that's how it started. And then it just switched from not just women and LGBTQ, but all humans. We don't want to divide, but we want to still support those who have not been seen as much in the skateboarding community.
So what is it like when you're there? Like, is it like an organized like agenda, or does kids just come and everyone's just together as a community and talking and getting to know each other? What is it like there?
So you will roll up to the skate park in Albany, because the main one is in Albany, but I've also gotten some connections with other towns that they wanted to host their own, which is great. So when you roll up to the skate park in Albany, you sign in, you get a raffle ticket, you grab some flyers for upcoming events that we host. We have a merch table, granola bars, water, Gatorade, all free. And if you need a skateboard, you can grab a skateboard, sign it out and go and skate until, the event is over. But it's just coming together as a community and filling up the skate park. And it's huge. So we have that capability of being safe as we skate during a pandemic. And it's just what people have expressed to me, usually with me, because I'm running all over the place, making sure everyone else is having fun. It's a little hectic for me, but everyone's like, you can just feel the love in the air. They feel accepted. They feel understood. They feel so much courage. You know how much courage that you need to show up to the skate park? There's a lot, actually, and people are not like, some people can relate to that, is that feeling of, oh my God, there's so many people. Should I go? Right, and there was one person that said, it took me 20 minutes to walk up to your table, like to get out of my car. And I was like, really? No. And then ever since they did come in, they were like, wow, why did I wait 10 minutes in my car? Yep. Right. That fear was holding them back, but it's just so much love and community right at that event every month.
Do these kids need to have a background in skateboard, or if you're new to it and like, I just want to try this, can you just come?
Exactly.
That's
Come
awesome.
no matter what. So skateboards, roller skates, scooters, BMX bikes, whatever you
Huh.
have, rollerblades. I mean, honestly, anything on wheels, why not roll on in and join us and meet new friends and get inspired. And if you fall, you get right back up. And that really builds that resiliency.
So this is you consider this Skate Albany as a program that Noteworthy runs, is that right?
Yes, we
Okay.
host the we host the meetups monthly, and then we also teach private lessons and do other fun things to get um, all humans that are in need a skateboard as well.
It's excellent. So if you've just tuned in, I just want to reintroduce. We're having a conversation here on the Social Workers with Tatiana Gjergji, who is president and founder of Noteworthy Resources. And we've been talking about Skate Albany, which is one of the sub-programs, if you will, of Noteworthy Resources. And just sounds like a really phenomenal program and really creative idea. A way to get youth involved, and maybe not just youth, but youth and other community members involved with each other, and building community at a time when it's really desperately needed. And I guess that leads me to another question, which is, you started Noteworthy Resources in 2017, I believe. And then last year, 2020, was quite an unusual year for all of us. How have things changed for your organization in the pandemic, and how has that shifted possibly your mission and purpose?
So when we're faced with these challenges, we have a choice whether to throw everything up in the air and just give up or keep going and maneuvering and what is it? How do you say? Going around obstacles. So what we did, just like a lot of other people, we went virtual. All the workshops, all the meetups went virtual. Luckily, when it was summertime, we hosted a lot of our workshops and even our mental health support group that we host monthly at the park or at the plaza, nice big spaces, open spaces that we can be at. We make it work. That's the whole point. We don't stop and we keep adding. There's no subtraction to anything. We keep adding. And we literally, and I know it might not sound big for a lot of people, but we gained about 2,000 followers within the year on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, across boards. And now so many people are learning about us because of the addition of the skate meetups and a lot of the virtual workshops. I teach a workshop the other day, last month, I taught a workshop about numerology and the symbolism of numbers. And that's just another toolbox along with our horoscopes. But I thought all the women were in Albany, but they were all in North Carolina.
Huh.
And that was so cool.
Yeah.
So that's what, I mean, we got to look at the silver lining to a lot of the challenges that we might face.
Well, I like how you said, you keep going, you're still adding. And I think one thing with this year, going through this myself and with an 8-year-old daughter, so much was just sort of subtraction. Like, oh, this is now canceled. This is now canceled. And she's just looking at me like, Mom, like, I need something. And she's a very energetic, like things like skating, and she does roller skating and biking and all that. It means it's just a way for her to let things out. Same as me. We're big into like that exercise to help de-stress, and for things to be taken away, it's just so hard, especially for kids. And for you to keep having these resources for kids in the community, a way to come together in a safe way, a way for them to have something to look forward to. Oh, next month I can't wait to meet up, or a virtual session of something. I think it's a really, really great and need it in the community, especially now.
Yeah, and it feels good.
What are some of the other positive outcomes? I mean, do you see people who come to these events then connecting with each other outside of the events? Like, is there friendships that develop and, other sort of community outcomes that might be arising from this?
Since 2017, I have seen so many people growing, and I'm not going to take all the credit for them being evolving and expanding and thriving in their lives, but I've seen it. So people who come to our workshops, just like the woman who wanted to teach yoga, now she's doing her own thing. With the skate meetups, there have been people that walked in by themselves and they left with friends. I do every single time.
That's great.
You know, and people also sending us their, oh my gosh, now I'm drawing a blank, of course. They send us their progression videos.
Oh.
Of you know, I've never started skateboarding, but you inspired me, you know, being also another woman, and also who's not super skinny skateboarding, because that's that, you know, there's a lot of stigma around skateboarding and people have this vision of what it is, just like a skinny boy skateboarding. And it's not. Like, there's so many professionals, so many creatives, so many trans, non-binary, like women, men, like all people, all humans. Like, skateboarding does not know language, does not know race and gender or any of that. You can go anywhere in the world. Skateboarding is universal.
Yeah.
Humans. So it's just so cool to see someone being scared, being 20 minutes in their car waiting there to get in. And then when they're there, they're added to group chats on Instagram. We have two Instagram group chats with 30 to 40 people on it that we just text each other when we're skating to help support one another and create a safe, intentional space for one another. And then also on Facebook, we have a group with like 68 or 70 people that just want to connect. And that's what Noteworthy is.
So I'm so curious, you know, it's difficult running a nonprofit. This is not easy work. And clearly it's evident from talking to you that your passion is what drives you. But it takes resources of another kind. It takes financial backing to, you know, to keep an organization like this afloat. Where and how do you see, you know, that becoming more and more important maybe for your organization? But where do you get your funding, and how do you convince folks to fund what it is you do?
So our nonprofit has always been funded on its own, through workshops, through skateboarding lessons, through fundraisers, and you know, the merchandise that we create with local artists that they create and help donate their work of art to help for the organization. We also have a GoFundMe, a Patreon to submit to, so it's like a monthly subscription. We just accept donations. We are searching for grants and funding. We do need sponsors. We do need investors, because we have so much coming. We have so many ideas. I am so confident that this is all going to work out. I'm just still putting the pieces together. Yes, I can't do this alone. There's no alone in community. So luckily, even this year, I've developed relationships and friendships with people that now I can welcome into the organization. So now it's just not me and independent contractors with workshops, but now we have a committee, and we're building our board, and we're really, like, so many people are now wanting to get involved in something bigger than themselves, because they saw, you know, how alone it can be, and that they want to help contribute to others. So, you know, I'm so thankful and grateful and extremely honored for our community partners and our support, as well as our hardworking committee that volunteers, because we all volunteer. I've never gotten a cent with Noteworthy. So that's also our goal, is to get some funding, get some grants, whether it's local grants or county or national, wherever, state, to get these grants going so we can get more people involved and working, and get us on their resume so they can go and thrive on their own if they like. We also want to open up a community center here, where there's an indoor skate park, since there's none in the 3-hour radius of Albany. So we want to get a building where we can host our workshops and support groups, but then on the other side of it, or in the same building, have an indoor skate park, where they can safely skate all year round, because skateboarding is not a summer sport.
Right.
It is an all year sport. We skate out there when it's cold. We skate in the winter time, especially when it's dry. I think we have our own judgment. We can use our own judgment when to skate. But a lot of the skate parks are also closed. The public ones, they close them.
Right.
And even the people who run this outdoor skate parks, mostly towns, they're not even educated as to when skateboarders go to skate and who skateboarders actually are. So we also advocate and go out to other towns to help support outdoor skate parks. And that will help us get more community interaction and advocates to also help us get this center open eventually.
That's exciting. And you mentioned so many ideas that you have. Can you share some of those, or where you hope to see Noteworthy go, and maybe some upcoming events that you might be having? Like, what's the plan for you guys?
So we're always going to host our workshops that are really helping, whether it's business seminars or learning about chakras or yoga workshops. But I've been wanting to do for a very long time is a tutoring program where we get college students, whether from Albany or other surrounding universities and colleges, to collaborate with us, whether they intern with us, and they can help other youth or refugees or people in need of support with studies. So I want to provide more tutoring opportunities and provide that safe, supportive space for people to come and connect, whether it's learning a new language or getting more support with how to build a resume, or learning about how to do your taxes, or what's health insurance, what's home insurance, what's life insurance. A lot of people don't really know that. So, and especially my parents, they just say, oh yeah, we got to pay for it, but they don't even know the benefits that come from it. Yeah. They weren't even educated to know, well, what can you do while you're paying for it? Mm-hmm. So then they just sit there in silence, suffering. Yeah. Not really, but still they can be, if we were all just learning what our options are in the community, we can just really, really thrive. Yeah. So all of those workshops with the center, we can provide that safe space for people. And then our upcoming events, we have where we're teaching people about Reiki. So, this month we have a Reiki training workshop that's taught by a wonderful, renowned Reiki master practitioner in the area. I actually just developed too, since I talk a lot about first generation Americans, we're going to have a Lives of First Generation American seminar in April. Mm-hmm. So all of us who are first generation or not and want to learn and listen, we can talk about our feelings and the struggles that we might face, or the burdens that we might carry, for our families. And it's all across boards with all other ethnicities and races and genders and people from all throughout the world that come to this melting pot. But we all have something in common.
I'm really impressed, Tatiana. I'm really struck by the breadth of your vision, and the fact that you're offering something for the community and constantly coming up with new ideas and expanding. And there's just a sense of optimism here and a sense of forward thinking. And just the notion that a young person like yourself could just start their own nonprofit based on an idea, and that idea could blossom. And I really, look forward to hearing much more about this organization in the future.
Yes. And just to remind everyone, you are not alone. And that is something that we have to remind ourselves when we're struggling at times. Just knowing it's not so much what you know, it's who you know as well that can help you with that. And just to let everyone know that you are not alone, that Noteworthy is always here, whether it's a simple little question about, college or taxes or building a nonprofit too. We can help support people too that have their own vision. Why not collaborate more with people rather than competing?
Well, I mean, so many times when Just in general with different things, we think we're like the only one. It's like we're probably the only one going through this. No one else is going through this. Everyone else seems to be knowing what they're doing or have these resources and this and that. And I love that your organization not only helps give people information, but helps connect people. And I think that is needed so much because especially now with COVID, we're all going through our ups and downs of like feeling like we're the only ones maybe struggling with this or who's going through something, and bringing people together in community. Because sometimes we live in a community, but we're not connected. And I love that your organization is doing that. For those who want to find out more or to donate, or where can they find more information about your organization, whether it's a website or social media, how can they connect with you?
Yeah, our social media is at NWR_Albany. And our website is www.nwralbany.org. So if you'd even just Google Noteworthy Resources Albany or NWR Albany, we will pop up. Great. And I really want to encourage other people to connect with us and ask questions. And if they have any ideas that they want to host their own workshops and inspire other people, we are here to support one another.
And I love the idea, and I'll just sort of make an open invitation here, Tatiana, but I love the idea of you connecting with the University of Albany and thinking, you mentioned student interns. And you mentioned some really, I have a couple ideas pinging in my head that may be ways that we could collaborate and that you could get Albany students and faculty and possibly even researchers. I just think there's some, and maybe grant writers, there's some collaborative opportunities, I think, pending here. So if you're interested, let's be in touch about that too.
When you have that open mindset, everything will flow and come and go. And that's what we're trying to do. There's endless possibilities of how we can evolve.
Well, it's exciting. Just listening to you, I feel very just motivated and inspired and just hopeful. Is you have a personality, just listening to you talk and hearing that passion for what you do. I'm in a really great mood now. I had no power. Awesome. I had no power last night from the windstorm, and now I came in this morning just a little and now I feel great.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. So if you've just tuned in, this is the Social Workers live radio talk show, and also a recorded podcast, and lots of ways to interact with and listen to the Social Workers. And I'm the co-host Eric Hardiman here with Alyssa Lotmore, and then Alyssa and I have been talking with Tatiana Gjergji, who is the president and founder of Noteworthy Resources right here in Albany in the capital region of New York. And Tatiana, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a great conversation. I also had this vision in my head that, maybe you could come back in a year and tell us all of the things that have changed in the preceding 12 months and the new projects, and that we can watch your organization continue to grow. So I hope you'll consider coming back too to the Social Workers.
Let's do it. Absolutely.
So thanks everybody for listening. Alyssa, do you want to remind listeners any of our information in terms of where they can hear our show and check out archived episodes?
Yeah, so we are always on WCDB on Thursday mornings with a lot of pre-recorded episodes. But for all our episodes of The Social Workers, just, you can find all our episodes on our website, which is the Social Workers Radio Talk Show.simplecast.fm. It's a little long. You can just find us on our social media pages too, and it will connect you. We're at Social Workers FM, so Social Workers FM on Twitter and Facebook.
You can also just Google the Social Workers Radio, and you'll find our various social media outlets there. Yes. But there are lots of great interviews coming up too. We have lots in the works, and so for those of you who are just tuning in for the first time, we hope you'll continue listening. And Alyssa and I always enjoy having these conversations with folks like Tatiana. So Tatiana, thank you, and good luck in the next steps of Noteworthy Resources.
And thank you so much for this opportunity to shine light on what we're doing. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Happy to help. Thanks for listening to The Social Workers on WCDB Albany.
You're listening to The Social Workers on WCDB Albany.